All right. Welcome. If you're just joining us, we've had several people join in the last couple of minutes. Welcome. We appreciate that you're with us. This is the place to be to start your day with a positive mindset, with learning new things that will build and help your business. And we get today, see if I get my slides progressing here. There, whoop, wrong way. That is our instructor, though. That's Ryan Black. It's not the slide I intended to have up there, but that's all right. This is a guy that, I think of Ryan, and I just get a flood of good memories, happy thoughts, positive feelings. My wife Sue and I actually met Laura Black first, and talk about, when you meet somebody and you just know that their heart is pure, that they just radiate love and well wishes all around them, and just a caring and nurturing. That's Laura. She is wonderful. So we knew we were going to like Ryan. And if you're new to the group and don't know much about Ryan, he was a filmmaker for 10 years. He was contacted by our CEO, Bob Snyder, to do some work for him, and Bob said, I need you on our team. So he was working at Renata's corporate offices for a while, and I'm privileged to say the first partner that I partnered up with on a deal was Ryan, and we had a great experience. He turned it into, a fine experience to a great experience, and I watched the things that he did there and how it changed his life. In fact, it changed his life to the point that he told Bob Snyder, I can't afford to work for you anymore. I'm going to start my own business. And he is just a fantastic marketer of the Renatus education. He has changed untold lives, and that ripple effect is something that we can all do. And he's here today to teach us how to do that. Ryan, good morning. How are you, sir? Ryan, are you with us? Give us just a second here. It looks like we may be having some technical difficulties. Okay. Ryan's trying to get on the air here. I've got a text from him that he's here. Let's see if we can get him on the line. Ryan, there he is. Unmute. How's that? Boy, it is not unmuting Ryan. I don't know what's going on here. There's something to be said about the wonderful technology that we've got. And one of the things to be said is that sometimes it does what you don't expect. Looks like Ryan is trying to come back on the call and make it work for us. And it'll be well worth the wait, let me tell you. There's Ryan. Let's see if we can unmute him again.
Ron, can you hear me now?
Hey, we can hear you now, Ryan. Welcome.
Okay.
Thank you for being here.
Sorry about that mix-up. Happy to be here. Thank you so much for the introduction. Appreciate that.
You betcha.
So I hope you all can hear me clearly. I had tried calling in, but we'll do the Wi-Fi thing here. I'm up in Midway, beautiful Midway, Utah, up in the mountains. Here up with my family. We're at the Zermatt Resort, for those of you that have heard of it. It's a beautiful place. Standing outside, and it's lightly snowing next to a little waterfall. There's a lake here with steam rising off it. So it's very picturesque, and have spotty cell service. So hopefully we can still remain in communication throughout this call. But I really look forward to chatting with you guys today. I commend you for being on the call, because the difference between those who really, the folks who say, yeah, Renatus is cool, I made a little bit of money and had some fun, versus those who say Renatus has completely changed my life, transformed my family, our situation, our finances, everything, are those who have commitment, right? The commitment, and commitment means no sleeping, no resting, the consistency, the frequency in what you're doing. So I know it's just a couple days after Christmas, and you may be on vacation like me, or maybe doing something else, but just want to commend you for being on the call. So without further ado, let's get going. We have I got something fun I'd like to chat with you about today: the 5Fs. So I'm sure many of you have heard about the 5Fs. What are the 5Fs? For if you haven't, the 5Fs are there are 5 principles that we that we focus on, as far as 5 key things in our lives that when we have these things as a priority, we're able to have a life of abundance, a life of success, and a life of just fulfillment. You know, in Renatus, our focus obviously is many times primarily financial. I mean, that's why we join Renatus, is because we want to create a better financial future for ourselves and our families. And it's the best vehicle around to do that. But when we look at the 5Fs, we want to have balance. Now, I'm not trying to say work-life balance, because I believe that's a myth. There's really no such thing as work-life balance. I've had several conversations with Bob Snyder about that, and he believes it's a myth as well. But when we talk about focusing on magnifying the 5Fs, we're talking about creating a balance in life to where we have excellence in the 5 key areas of our life. Because if you have an imbalance, if you have a ton of money, but your family hates you, or your marriage is falling apart, what do you really have, right? Or if you have a ton of money and you've discarded your health to the point that you're sick, you're ill, you can't move, you have no energy, what's the point? And so in moving forward in 2019, that's something that's going to be really a big focus for Laura and I, as well as with our team. Is we're not just here to make a bunch of money. I mean, it's great, it's a business, and the sole purpose of a business is to make a bunch of money. That's the purpose of a business. But it's so much more than that. And so the 5Fs, if you don't know what they are, you don't remember, the 5Fs are in this order. The order matters. First is faith, and then family, and then fitness, and then finances, and then fun. So once again, in this order: faith, family, fitness, finances, and fun. And so let's go through and just chat about these a little bit. First off, faith. Faith. Now this can be a tricky one. Why? Well, because we all have different beliefs, right? We have our different personal beliefs as far as what faith means, a belief in a higher power, in a deity, or in the universe, whatever your personal beliefs are. And the point here with faith is not to say who's right, who's wrong, or what beliefs. We respect each other's beliefs and allow everyone to have their own beliefs. But the point here with faith is, it's a couple things. One thing is being coachable and being humble, and recognizing that there are things bigger than us, right? That we, in order to take our lives to the next level, we need to be submissive, and we need to be coachable, to be humble, to have the mindset of saying, you know what, I may know a lot, but I don't know everything. And when times get tough, whatever higher power it is that you personally believe in, reaching out to that, or reaching out to the universe for guidance, for instruction, and for assistance, so that you might be able to achieve more success. And so faith is really an important one. Really is faith. Okay. Number 2 is, of course, family. So family. Now, we all have different family situations. Some of us are married. Some of us have a significant other. Some of us, are flying solo right now. But whether or not you have a partner, probably have parents or aunts or uncles or cousins or maybe a kid or two. So when we talk about family, we're really talking about any familial relationship, right? Those people who look like us, like Bob says, those people who look like us. And so as we are, as we're looking at forwards toward 2019 and saying, how can I maximize my relationships? How can I take those things to the next level? Because whether or not, regardless of where you're at, we always have an opportunity to increase and improve those familial relationships, be it a marriage relationship or relationship with our kids or with our folks. So when we look at, okay, how can we apply Renatus to improving our family relationships? I thought Renatus was about investing, making money. Well, it's been said that Renatus is a self-development company disguised as a real estate investment company or a real estate education company. And so when we're looking at how can I improve my relationships, it's quite easy. Personal development. As we improve ourselves and as we focus on finding ways to make ourselves better people, overcoming our own weaknesses, our own shortcomings, and just becoming better people, just leveling up in all areas of life, guess what? Our relationships improve. And that's something that like Ron said, I had the opportunity to work at the corporate office, and being there, I was able to see Bob fairly regularly, and more than anything, observe him and learn from his example. And it really was a blessing to be able to see how he treats other people, the people he works with and his family and his wife and everything. And so, if nothing else, just taking a cue from folks like him and other great leaders, saying, how do they treat their family? How do they treat others, and following their example. But focusing on that is something that, when all's said and done, those family relationships are up there at the top of the list as far as things that are most important. So, family. Next up, fitness. Fitness, but I just ate a bunch of fruitcake and eggnog. And now, guys, I know that it's the Christmas holiday season, so a lot of folks are taking a quote-unquote break from their health and fitness goals. But nonetheless, it is really important to ensure that what we're creating, just like what we're creating in our businesses, right? We're going for longevity. This is a long-term play. We don't want to have, just a business that makes some money and then in a year or 2 years from now just disappears. That's not the goal. We want longevity. But having a business that lasts us for a long time does us no good if we're not around here to enjoy it, or if we don't have the energy or the health or the strength or the vibrance to be able to enjoy it. And so, I'm really grateful that Ron Williams has been able to get so involved with Renatus to help out so many people, achieve their health goals, not just with losing weight, but just health goals in general, just to have more energy. Because what Bob says is very true. If you don't feel good, you can't do good. And we want to do good, but we have to be healthy enough to be able to do so. So, I'm actually working with Ron right now and coaching with him, and it has been a huge blessing. And so whether or not you're coaching with him or planning on doing so in the future, I guess my advice would be this. When you're looking at 2019 and what you want to accomplish in your business, really focus on how can I improve my health? Because, and maybe you've got some extra pounds to lose, or maybe not. Maybe you're at your target weight and you're just looking at, how can I modify my diet? What do I need to do to have more energy so that I can be more enthusiastic about the business, so I can connect with people, so I can find more common ground, so I can just be more fulfilled and have more energy? It's so important, so valuable. And I think some people, I don't know, they don't believe it. They think, that doesn't matter. It does matter. Trust me, it does matter, and it makes a big difference. So I invite you to focus on that as well. All right, so we got faith, family, fitness. What comes next? The fourth F, finances. Finances, of course. Now, obviously, finances is the reason why most all of us join Renatus, and that's because it's the best income opportunity in the U.S. Bar none. Not just for as far as helping other students get enrolled and helping them change their lives, but as we apply the education, being able to invest in short-term and long-term real estate and create passive income and create a stable financial future for our family will never, ever go away. Now, this is obviously the primary topic of most of these calls that we have. And so I guess all I would add is, as you're looking forward to the new year and what you want to accomplish and what you want to achieve, look backwards before you look forwards. Meaning, look at 2018 and be honest, right? And today, this would actually be a great place for me to do this because I'm up here. It's a little cold outside, so I'd probably go inside because it's pretty nippy out here. But find a place, find a quiet place up, in the mountains or by the beach or, wherever it is that you are, and sit down and look backwards. Do a debrief, right? Some people call it, SWOT analysis or a year in review or, an annual review, but look back over 2018. What did I do well? What were my strengths? What were some of those weaknesses? What were some of the things that, didn't do so well? What were some of the opportunities that arose that I either took advantage of or didn't? And what are some of the threats in my business? Things that, potentially could cause my business harm or, just make things more complicated. So do that SWOT analysis, look back and see what could be improved, the opportunities, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And also, the times where you had successes and times where, you totally missed the boat. Maybe it's because you weren't in the right place at the right time. Maybe because of fear was holding you back and kept you from making that call or knocking on that door, making that contact, whatever it is that you were needing to do. Maybe it was lack of organization. That, man, if I would have just been on top of this, if I would have had a system, if I would have had, some way, I would have been able to help out these folks with their property, or I would have been able to, get the student enrolled, whatever it is. But look backwards before you look forwards, because if we don't look at the past will repeat itself. So make sure that, before creating all these lofty goals of, this is what I'm going to achieve and this and that and this and that this year, look at what it is that, we did last year, what we did well and what needs improvement so that this year, moving forward, we can make it even better. Faith, family, fitness, finances, and last but not least, fun. Fun. Why? Because the monotony of day in, day out, work. What's the, there's a Beatles song that talks about that, about working too much. You just have to have fun. I'm sure we're all familiar with, Stephen R. Covey, the sharpening of the saw, the principle of sharpening the saw. If we simply are just putting the axe to the grindstone over and over and over again, and we never stop, we never take a break, step back, smell the roses, to have fun, to enjoy the life that we're creating for ourselves, is it really worth it? Because obviously we need to plan for the future. We need to, ensure that what we're creating is an empire, a stable empire, a scalable empire, one that is going to last for many years beyond our existence on this beautiful earth. But it's something that we need to be sure that we are enjoying the journey and not just focused on the destination. And so, it's something that can be done with frequency, but also needs to be done with balance. So just remember that if you're planning on taking a 3 or 4 week hiatus from your business because you're going to watch, I don't know, some marathon on Netflix of your favorite TV program, that's going to hurt your business considerably. But when I'm talking about fun, one thing that we try to do is we try to do frequent, shorter activities. So whether it's, coming up to a resort or going somewhere over the weekend, just taking little trips with the kids or whatever it is, making frequent, shorter activities or trips, things like that, don't really affect your business as much because they're quick. But at the same time, it gives you that much needed respite, the break, a chance to reset, to clear your mind, and then come back and sharpen that saw and come back with a vengeance. Because by the time you get back, you're ready to plug back in, ready to go and hit it even harder. And it's something that is really, I don't know, we found to be very, very beneficial. And so I would just encourage you to do that. The people that I most look up to and admire, in business and in life, they play a lot. These are people who, they work really hard. They're very focused. They're very dedicated, but they play. And they play because a lot of times some of their best ideas and best, innovations in their businesses come after playing. So we got to work hard, but don't forget, we also have to play hard. So I'm going to open it up right now just to see if anybody has any questions. And if anybody has any questions or comments, I would love to hear from you. Oh yes, Hard Day's Night is the name of the Beatles song that I failed to remember. Thank you, Kimberly.
Hello, Ryan.
Yes.
Hey, this is Brian from Scottsdale Renatus. How are you doing?
Hey, doing great. How you doing, Brian?
Good, thanks. Hey, I just wanted to comment. Yeah, I love your topic because I'm one of those guys that'll work 24/7, and then I did find I got burnt out.
Yep.
So that's why we have spouses to keep us in check. But so we had a vision we want to have a ranch. We live in, the valley, and it's kind of hot down here. So we actually have a vision of buying a ranch up in cooler mountain country. So last weekend, we actually went and looked at some land up by Williams and Flagstaff. And our plan is to go ahead and get some land now so that we can have a place to go, camping and stuff up, like you said, just take a day or two jaunt. It's only 3 hours away and kind of recoup and then come back. And that fits our long-term goals also.
See, I love it. And that is perfect because, yeah, meets your needs for the short term, but also for the long term. There's some opportunity for development there and growth and different things that you could do. But it's where it's easy. A couple hours away, you can run, you can do it, and make it happen. Because a lot of times if it's like, oh, well, let's go to, I don't know, some exotic place on vacation, a lot of planning, maybe more cost than is feasible right now. But something quick but fun that's a getaway nearby to really let you reset is awesome. So
yeah,
congrats.
And eventually we can build our place up there, but yeah, as we go.
Perfect. Love it. Right. Thanks for sharing.
Appreciate your topic. Thank you.
Yeah. And I want to make a comment there as well. He mentioned spouses. Now, that's a double-edged sword. It depends on how your spouse is, because my wife and I, we are both like head to toes involved in Renatus. I mean, we are both very, very much Renatus. We bleed Renatus blue. And so a lot of times, and those of you who have your spouse who are also fully involved in the business will appreciate this. It'll be 2 o'clock in the morning, and we realize, you know what, we should probably go to bed because we need to stop talking about Renatus and go to bed so that we can wake up in the morning. And so that's one thing that can be, it's amazing when you have your spouse or your partner that you're doing the business with, so you can all day and all night be talking about Renatus, but at the same time, sometimes either her or I have to remind the other person, hey, let's see if we can go for an hour without talking about Renatus and talk about something else, because we just, it's the lifestyle. So we just got to make sure that we keep that in balance as well. And it's great. If your spouse can help you with that, that's always a good thing. Let's see. Oh, we got a couple of. Oh, yes.
This is Berta
Oh, hi,
from
Berta.
Salt Lake City. I just believe that we can find perfection if we can have balance. And I know it, but I haven't worked on it. So your message, I'm sure, will help everybody who listens to your suggestions.
Great, thank you, Berta. I appreciate the positive feedback. Thank you.
And respect to looking backwards, I believe it's a good start, because sometimes you don't know where to start. So if we look backwards, we will do the things that we would like to do, and we will disconnect or take away the things that are taking our time or effort and they're not worthy enough. So thank you, and have a great New Year, everybody.
Oh, thank you. You too, Berta. Appreciate your comments. Looks like we've got a couple of folks from the chat box here. One person, or Sal asks, what are some fun things to do with your team? Well, that's a good question. There are kind of I'd have two different answers for that. There are the business activities that you could do with your team to help get them engaged and get them pumped up about going for the new year. And then the other thing would be just social interactions with the team. With the drive system, director, relator, intellectual validator, and executive, we all have very different personality types. And so it's important that we reach out to and connect with all those people's personalities. So as far as with the business, we do different things with our team, but I've seen also a lot of different things that different folks around the country do. A lot of teams will have, a team call maybe once a week, like a Zoom call like this, just for their team. That's kind of a mastermind, a team mastermind. Sometimes they'll do that in person, do kind of a training, a marketing mastermind, maybe a real estate mastermind, a call or a class in person where they all get together and, you do a potluck, everyone brings some food and make it into kind of a fun thing. I know sometimes some teams, they'll go and, go to the movies together. Every month have different kind of little outings, or they'll all go to dinner or something. Just different social gatherings in addition to, to the regular meetings, because when we're there at the meetings, we're focused on it's pay time, right? So we're focused on connecting with guests and building relationships and all that stuff. And so a lot of times we don't really have an opportunity to sit back and really get to know and connect with our team members the way that maybe we would like to, because we're always on the clock, as it were, when we see them. So whether it's a monthly thing or a quarterly thing, if Sal and everyone else that has a team out there, I would say, this year, think about what are a couple of fun things that we could do, and they don't have to be expensive. You don't have to worry about the cost. It could be, if the weather's nice, everyone just meets at a park and, have a picnic and bring a volleyball net and play some games or whatever with the family. Just something where it's different, right? An opportunity to get together and meet each other's families, hang out, and just build those relationships when we're quote unquote off the clock, right? Because we typically only see each other when we're at some type of business training or meeting or class, and it's pay time, so we're focused on business. Dream board. Oh, Araceli mentions dream boards. Yes, dream boards are very, very powerful. I'm actually updating mine right now. So yeah, if you haven't done your dream board, you want to make sure that you get that taken care of. Dream boards are very important. And then Ron. Oh, Ron says, Ryan, would you share how you took your business from part-time to full-time? So that's interesting. So when we started, I could have gone full-time, or we could have gone full-time about 6 months into it. But we waited a year because one of the things that Bob talks to us about or recommends in his trainings is, don't quit too early. And we've seen it happen. I mean, I've seen several cases of this with different folks in Renatus who get super excited and they're like, okay, this is awesome. I made a little bit of money. Maybe they just got 5-star and they closed their first combo. They're like, okay, great. I just made 10 grand. I am going to go quit my job, fire my boss, and, live the dream. Well, that's great, but you need to close another combo after that, and then again and again and again. And so stopping too early can be dangerous. And I just wouldn't want to see any of you have what I've seen in the past, is where folks, fire their boss or bosses, and then a couple months later they have to go back and get their job again because they did it preemptively, right? They did it too quick, too early. And it's bad for a couple reasons. One, because usually people make a lot of fanfare about, I fired my boss, I quit my job, and then sheepishly they're back in the job a couple months later. So that doesn't really help with, as far as credibility, if you're marketing to your warm market. But also, what message does it send ourselves, right? What message do we hear in our mind? It's, well, I failed. It is, I said I could do this and I fired my boss, but now I'm back in a job. So really, a lot of times we'll feel that, well, I guess I failed. I guess this isn't for me, I guess. And that's not it, right? Failing forward is the key to success. Failing forward. And so it's a function of timing. So if you try to jump out, I've been skydiving. If you're not at the right height, if you're not at the right altitude, it doesn't matter how good you are, your skydiving jump is going to end very badly. If you're only a couple thousand feet up and you jump out of the plane, your chute is not going to have enough time to open and decrease your velocity before you hit the ground. So it doesn't matter how good you are, you're going to fail. Likewise in business, if you deploy your chute too quickly, if you jump out of the plane too quickly before you're at that cruising altitude to where you can safely jump out, in other words, if you fire your boss and quit your job too quickly, it's going to backfire. And so we don't want to have that. So what Bob recommends is that you're making a multiple of your income, not just matching your income. Okay, I'm making 40 grand a year, and okay, I've made 40 grand this year in my business, so now I can quit. He recommends going higher than that. And so when we gently fired a boss and transitioned to full-time, we made in 1 month, our 1 month income was my yearly income. And so, that's I guess a 10x or 12x. We 12x'd our income. And so at that point, we're like, okay, now we're good. We can do this. And obviously, you don't have to go to that extreme, but at least a multiple. Bob recommends that you do a multiple you know, 2 or 3 times what you're currently making at your job, once your business is making that, and making it consistently, because having one big month and then after that nothing, it's kind of stressful. And so that's one big important factor, is looking at your income. Now, another thing that affects that obviously is if you can do velocity banking and decrease your cost of living and you know, eliminate, pay off your debts and stuff, well, your cost of living goes way down. So it'll be easier and quicker for you to get to that point where the amount of money you need to live off of is a lot less. But so that's just one important thing. Make sure that you don't miscalculate that, so you don't jump out of the plane too soon. And then the other thing of what we did as far as transition was just working really hard. It was, I mean, we stopped watching TV. We just, we would put the kids down to bed, and every night we just hit the classes really, really hard. We'd study for hours every night. So I worked full time with Bob, and then I had my other business, which was a film production company that I was running as well, and I continued to do that and service clients there. And then we were starting our, you know, this other business with Renatus, and so it was exhausting. There's no two ways about it. But we knew that it was a short-term, it was a short-term sacrifice that we would need to make for long-term gains. And so if you're looking at transitioning from part-time to full-time, whether you know, you have employment, another business you're running, whatever it is, we had both of those things that we had to transition out of. It is time-consuming, it is hard work, it is stressful, and you will have late nights. But is it worth it? Absolutely. No doubt at all. Absolutely. So, yeah, that's kind of what we did to transition out. So, looks like we're about to the time here. Any other questions or comments that anyone would like to throw out there before we wrap up the call? Okay, I will take that silence as silence is golden. So once again, the 5 F's. 2019, first we're looking backwards, analyzing strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Then looking forward, how can we maximize and magnify our faith, family, fitness, finances, and fun moving forward in 2019. Congratulate you all again for being on this call, for taking your business seriously and taking your life seriously. Because when you excel in one of those F's, in one of those areas, you'll have a higher likelihood to excel in other areas. You know, if you look at Bob Snyder as a great example, that man excels in every area, okay? Because he takes it seriously, and his level of commitment, it rubs off from one area of life to another. Everything that he undertakes, he doesn't give it 50%. He gives it 100% every single time. And so in following his example and you know, hoping to reach the same level of success and excellence and fulfillment that he has achieved, this is, you know, small steps along the way are what get us to where we want to be. So congratulate you again, guys. Have a phenomenal week. Have a safe new year. Please don't do anything crazy. Be safe. The roads, you know, partying, all that stuff. Please make sure that you know, that you're careful and don't do anything foolish, because we want to all enjoy. We want to see all you guys at the national conference come springtime, happy and healthy. So have a great day. Take care, guys. Renatus rocks. See ya.